All right, guys. One thing that I wanted to do was kind of, it's a question I get asked a lot. What supplements do you use? And I'm not someone who goes nuts. I don't take a million different things. I believe in the basics. I've been around long enough. I started, using supplements when I was in high school. Protein powder, multivitamins. Ironically, PAC was one of the first things I ever used. So I've been there, I've done that, I've tried a lot of stuff, and it always kind of goes back to usually goes back to basics, just as it does with training most of the time. Simple is usually the best, and you stick with what works. And there's a few of the things that I've found that work. When it comes to training time, keep it real basic. This Carbo Plus, it's just a carb drink. I'll usually mix this. This is a natural flavored one. I do try to avoid artificial sweeteners and stuff like that, artificial flavors as much as possible. So I'll usually do a few scoops of this with about half a Gatorade just to get some flavor in there, along with about 20 grams of glutamine, and I'll use that to wash down a couple packs. I use Animal PAC and I use Animal Omega, essential EFAs, basically like a multivitamin of EFAs, if you want to call it that, and Animal PAC, obviously a multivitamin, multimineral. These I don't consider these sports supplements per se. These are just foundational supplements that should be used by anyone and everyone. But of course, guys who are going through intense weight training, trying to put on size, heavy training, a lot of that stuff, obviously you're going to have a greater demand for it. And anyone who's ever used Animal PAC knows it's pretty potent. You can take up to 2 packs a day. Rarely do I ever feel I have the need for 2 packs. Sometimes, when I'm really, really calorie depleted, getting ready for a show, I will go up to 2 packs. Animal Omega, I'll use at least 2 packs a day. Generally, in the off season, I'll go up to 4 pre-contest because calories are limited and carbs are generally reduced. I don't feel that I need as much of the anti-inflammatory effect that Omega has to offer. Sometimes taking too much of it when you're already calorie depleted and low carbs could actually flatten you out a little bit. At least that's just what I found. So I actually save the higher doses of it for the off season. And then it's the reverse with Animal PAC, obviously. Using a higher dose or doubling up on the dose pre-contest when food is a little bit more limited. But back to post-workout. This is basically what you see right here is my post-workout regimen minus maybe half a Gatorade. I'll mix it up prior to training so it's ready to go. Pretty much as soon as I'm done training, seeing that today is legs. Depending on what my last exercise is, I'll probably start drinking it during training. Every other workout, that is what I would do. Depending, same thing on back day, depends on what I'm doing as my last movement. If it's something really heavy and intense, I'm not gonna start drinking something if it's gonna make me yak. But for other days, I will start sipping it about 15 minutes before the end of my training, just to kind of already get it going. That way when I'm done training, I can kind of maybe wait 5-10 minutes and then throw down a meal. Pretty much as soon after training as possible. But I've used, like I said, I've used a lot of different stuff. This is not anything revolutionary, but for me, it definitely does the trick. So I'm gonna mix this up now. That way, when the workout's over, I don't have to waste any time screwing around getting it together. I guess I'll probably put in about 16 ounces of water. You don't want to fill it up so it takes you forever to drink. You end up diluting it too much. That's 15 ounces, okay. 15. Just some Gator. I didn't even use half of it. Yeah, it's got probably artificial flavors and colors, which aren't the greatest, but I do dodge the artificial sweeteners. 3 scoops of this, about 50 grams of carbs. Plus, I don't know, maybe I got 10 or so from the Gatorade, 50, 60 grams. I know some guys, they shoot for like 100 grams after their training. I don't know, I don't feel like I need that much. Especially considering I'm gonna throw down a meal, you know, about 10 minutes after this, which has a good, probably 70 grams of carbs in it. About 3/4 of a scooper. That should be about 20 grams. And glutamine is actually just great, period. I feel like when I'm using it consistently, my digestion's better. Why? I don't know. At least from what I read, I don't know how true it is. But you know, I say there's a big turnover in glutamine in your digestive tract and your stomach lining, and it'll help to soothe you know, people who have ulcers and things like that. I know because my father was going through it. A lot of times cancer patients, to, you know, reduce stomach upset and all the nausea and whatnot, will use it when they're going through chemotherapy and all that. And he did use it. It definitely did help him. So has to be some truth to it. Just give it a little sip, make sure I got it right. That's good. There's a lot of people who think that, you know, just aminos and BCAAs, that they're not, you know, that they're a waste of time, they're outdated, they're this, they're that. Personally, I think they're one of the best things out there. But I will say it could be possible, and obviously I'm not just saying this, you know, because I'm sponsored by Universal, by Animal, but I've used a lot of different brands of aminos in the past, and I've also talked to a lot of people, and when I'm telling them, like, dude, you know, trust me, Nitro's a great product, they're like, yeah, you know, it's just aminos, and I'm like, look, just try it, because I feel like with this one, you'll have a different experience. And I've yet to recommend it to somebody who didn't come back and say, holy shit, you were right. Like, that's a really, you know, I can actually feel it, especially when dieting, and you're calorie restricted, and you're hungry all the time, and you feel like you're pretty much always on an empty stomach. These, before, during, and towards the end of your workout, good 4 or 5 packs. I mean, basically as many of them as you could afford. To get, you know, close to 20 grams of BCAAs, you will notice a huge difference, not only in your energy, but in your muscle fullness, and I feel like improved condition as well. During cardio, anytime where you feel like, geez, I wish I could eat right now, but I gotta train, I gotta do cardio, I feel like I'm running on empty, perfect time for them, and I promise you, you will feel a difference. If you don't, then I'm a jackass, but I'd be surprised. I'm gonna get out there and warm up, and it's time to smash some legs.